today I want to compare some cheap pencils versus some expensive pencils. I want to specifically compare Crayola to Polychromos. Now, I frequently say that if you only want to invest in one thing, the paper is more important than the pencils, and that you can make a better drawing with Crayola on the right paper than you can with Polychromos on the wrong paper. But I've never made a full video actually demonstrating this. So I want to draw a picture today that is going to be half Polychromos and half Crayola. Now let's take a minute to talk about the prices of both sets of pencils. So I have bought a set of 36 Crayola pencils and they cost me, I think it was £4.20. Whereas a quick look on Amazon for the same size set of Polychromos, so a set of 36 Polychromos, is more like £43. So they are about £10 more expensive. Now, are the Polychromos 10 times better? Yeah, I mean, I do think so. But that doesn't mean you can't make decent art with Crayola. So let's draw a picture and I will explain to you some of my findings. Now, in terms of the picture I want to draw, I'm specifically looking for something that's symmetrical. Because I want to do half Crayola and half Polychromos, it won't be a fair comparison if it's not. So I'm going to draw a burger. Seems reasonably symmetrical. Now, before I start drawing this burger, let's take a minute to draw out some swatches. Now, whenever I draw with colored pencils, I rely on swatches. They show me exactly what the pencil actually looks like on the paper, so I don't have to rely on the barrel or on the lead of the pencil. And if anything, this is even more important with cheaper pencils because they're not necessarily as accurate in terms of showing what they look like. So all I'm doing is sorting the pencils into rainbow order, and then for each color, putting that color down as light as I can go to as dark as I can go. And then I want to make sure I label it so I know which color's which. And from here, I can see exactly what I'm working with for the Crayola. And I already have the same thing that I made a long time ago for the Polychromos. So let's start here with the Polychromos half. Now, Polychromos are something that I am extremely familiar drawing with. Absolutely nothing here is a surprise to me. First up, the pencils are very well made. They just feel really substantial. They're extremely easy to sharpen, very, very easy to get a sharp point with them, which if you have watched any of my other videos, you'll know how important it is to have a sharp pencil when using colored pencils. And they just go down in a really nice, smooth and consistent way. I also find that they're really well pigmented. So a very small amount of pencil does create a really nice and bright color. Now I am really speeding through the time lapse of me drawing with the Polychromos here. I think the most interesting part of this video will be comparing the two colors. So now I've drawn that Polychromos section, let's think about moving on to the Crayola. Now the Crayola pencils, to start with, in comparison, don't feel too bad, but it's as the drawing goes on that I really start to notice a difference. Specifically, it's just harder to put the pencil down. It's just not as pigmented. So whereas with the Polychromos, I can spend a lot more time layering, I'm not able to do that to the same extent as with the Crayola, particularly because if you want the color to look its full brightness, if you want to put down the red as bright as it should be, you do have to start pressing quite firmly and then you can't put more color down. So I'm trying my best here to add in details and to, where possible, match up that right side to the left of the Polychromos, but I wouldn't say it's easy. That said, I don't think it looks too dissimilar from the right to the left. So let's look at the drawing as a whole. And I think it is very evident that the Polychromos create a richer, deeper, more interesting drawing. And that is because I'm able to build up more of those colors. I'm able to get the same vibrancy with fewer colors. Now let me talk about some of the other differences that I've particularly noticed between the pencils. So first up, sharpening the Crayolas is much, much harder. So for my Polychromos, I use a hand crank pencil sharpener. I didn't actually use this pencil sharpener for the Crayola. Now I did start using the pencil sharpener at the beginning, but it was so hard to crank it. I was just really worried it's going to make it blunt. Did do a good job though. I ended up with the Crayola using this much cheaper pencil sharpener, but it did kind of crack the casing. The casing just doesn't feel as high quality. It's much rougher, more more splintery. One of my main problems was that one of the pencils must have been, I don't know, dropped in the manufacturing process. Every time I sharpened it, it broke off. And that will be because the lead inside the pencil is broken. I essentially had to write off using that pencil, which was frustrating because I thought it was the best green for the lettuce. Another really important main difference between Polychromos and Crayola is their light fast rating. Now I'm only going to briefly cover this. That is how much the pencil fades under normal lighting conditions. So when you draw a picture, if you were to put that picture up on the wall, over time, maybe over 50 or 100 years, it will gradually fade. Polychromos are designed to last that long. Some of their colors have different ratings to others, but a lot of them are designed to last over 100 years, whereas the Crayola is not a factor. So it could be that the pinks particularly tend to suffer and that they could fade after just a couple of years. So I think if you're wanting to try out colored pencils, you definitely can make good art with Crayola, but it's not as easy to make good art and you won't be able to make as rich art as with something like Polychromos. I think it's fine, but not as good. Now in actuality, if you only wanted to spend a limited amount of money on getting some colored pencils, rather than buying the set of 36 Crayola, I would highly recommend looking at the set of 12 Polychromos. People often have a desire to buy a huge set. I don't think it's necessary. Now do check out my video here where I talk about how to layer with only 12 pencils. You would think that having only 12 would be impossible to draw realistic pictures, but I don't think that's true.